Hello, this is Zach with SuiteCG. It's been a while since we've done a tutorial video or behind the scenes video. This is our first behind the scenes video for SuiteCG, and we're going to take a look at our first module, our kind of flagship module for the program, which is MultiSport Scoreboard. So we'll get right to it. Um, MultiSport Scoreboard is intended to be a very open framework, very flexible module of SuiteCG to let you create scoreboards for just about any two-team sport. So I'm going to create a new session here, and we have some session templates already built in, and we'll have more here by the time we are released to the general public for purchase, but in evaluation. But for now, we're going to take a look at an American football template. And we'll actually have opportunities. The, the program is such that you can create your own template. So you can take one of ours, modify it, or you can like start from scratch and just create a brand new template for a sport of your choice. So I'm going to launch a session here. First thing, there's a lot here. We don't have time to really cover everything, but we have some tabs up here. We have our game status tab. We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to take a look at our visiting and home team tabs. We've got our information to enter in for the team names, records, mascot, uniform color. Uniform color will be tied into our internal CG, so like the team boxes will have a color associated with them, and that color will be dynamic. So you'll be able to specify what color you want, and then that team box will change as well as other graphics. So if you have like a side-by-side of some players or something, and you want one side to be red and the other to be, gold because that's what the team colors are, you could do that. I should say a lot of this is still in development, so some of this doesn't work. Everything over here on the internal CG side is still just, this is all for show. It doesn't actually do anything. But one of the things we are going to do with any images that we're working with in our projects, those will all be serialized into our session file. So you'd be able to start a new template, put in all the team information, and then assign logos to the teams, assign images to some of the toggle controls and your sponsors, and then save that session to a flash drive. And all of the image information is going to be serialized into that file. So you're not going to have to like put the session file onto your flash drive and then go track down all of those images and put them in. It's all going to be in one place. Put it on a flash drive, take it over to your laptop that's running SuiteCG at your game, and load that session file, and you have everything you need. So that's how we roll now. It'll make it a lot easier for people to create projects at one location, then move it over to another later. So line lists, this feature does not work yet, but we're going to have a feature here so that you can have like one graphic that has like maybe some lower third information for a team player. It's kind of like a poor man's roster, but we're also going to have this cool effect where you can play them in a loop, on a timed loop. So let's say you had a little marquee on your score bug and you wanted to show things like stay tuned for the halftime show, or order this game online at blah blah blah, things like that, and that'll rotate through the entire duration of the game on your score bug. And then you would be able to use the second one for, again, like a poor man's roster. So you could just throw up a name. For soccer, we have some ideas how we might be able to use that for like a red card, yellow card type of thing. So we got that. Match details. If you've used SuiteCG or a CG StatLink in the past, the venue information is all old hat to you. But we also have stuff now for your broadcast team and your keys to the game. So you'd be able to create template images in your internal CG or your third-party CG. I have live text running back here. And you create these template files, template pages, excuse me. And then you just come in here, type in the information, and you're set to go. Okay, let's come back to the game status tab. Again, this is a football session, so what we see here is kind of a football, it kind of looks like a scoreboard. This is more for the operator to have one place to look to see what the status of the game is based on their controls down here. For controls, we have these big macro buttons. We'll talk about those in just a little bit. Um, but then we have clock controls. Clock isn't working yet, but if you use CG StatLink, this kind of looks familiar to you, these buttons here. So um, then down here we have counters and toggles. So counters are numerical values. You can adjust them with these buttons. Toggles are more of a true false on off type of thing. So if you look up here, you see this red circle here. If I click this, you're going to see that toggle change. Back here in live text, I've got a score bug going so you can see how the external data connection works. So we're using just data link with live text. But here, with the rest of these toggles, or I'm sorry, so the image here, this little football image, this will go back and forth, but we don't have the image serialization working yet with our CG images, so that's not working yet. But the rest of these, I can kind of show you using text, kind of how it would work. So if there's a flag on the play, you would click that. You see this flag appear up here. That would be an image once we have the images in place. But then not only that, you'll notice how it went away. We have a timer associated with this. And you can see the progress there. So you only have to click once and then you can forget about it because you know it'll in whatever 3-4 seconds, however long you've designated the timer, that toggle will go away. And then we have touchdowns for both the home and visiting team. And then we have a generic timeout. And again, these would all be images. And then we have one for interception. And the nice thing about this, as you'll see shortly, if you don't like these controls, you can change them. If you don't want interception and you want something else, if instead you want to do a home timeout and a visit timeout, you can change this one to be home timeout and this one to be visit timeout. And then you would just need to change the parameters in the session, but then you'd also need to change your data link connections in your project or in the internal CG once we have that ready to go. And then the macros here will execute several commands at once. So let's say we have this counter here. This first one controls what period we're in. Then we have the visit and home scores. And you'll notice that right now it says visit and home in all caps, but if I come over here, I can change this to tech and state. And now you'll notice all of those have changed. So make it easier on the operator so they don't have to think about, wait, who is visit, who is home again? All that's going to change for you automatically. You'll be able to change these labels and all of that. I'll show you how to do that shortly. So let's say we're on third down and 3 yards to go. And then they make it past the 30-yard on the play. So now they're at first down. While you click first down, it changes the down and distance to 1 and 10. Now, if there's a touchdown, that's going to not only execute the toggle for touchdown along with the timer, it's also going to change the score by 6 points. So you've got that going for you. One button does all of that. Then with the interception, it will change. I don't have that one fully configured. It's supposed to change the ball possession as well as throw up an interception toggle. It's supposed to execute that as well. But I have not done that. So that's how it goes sometimes. And then with like timeouts, there's a generic timeout, but doing this with this macro will subtract 1 timeout left from the visiting team. Doing it for the home team, we'll do the same. And then if there's a generic, like if you're doing media timeouts, you can just click timeout like that, and it won't decrement the score for anyone. And then so the toggles, like I said earlier, we're all doing it's all just text information here now. The final implementation, though, will have CG images. and you'll be able to load those in. And again, those will be serialized. So once they're loaded in, they'll be part of the file. You can remove them later, of course, but once they're there, they're part of the file, and you don't have to worry about losing that file, or if you move the session file over to another computer, you don't have to bring the images separately as discrete files. It's all part of the one uh, mega file. So you can select sponsor graphics, and then you'll have true false values for the different for counter 8 and 9, which is our timeout left or substitutions. Counters 8 and 9 are linked to that there'll be image outputs so that you'll be able to have timeout images. And as let's say in football, you have 3 timeouts a half, and so you'd have 3 images on your scorebug for each team. And if the value of the counter is 2, the first two images, images here for timeouts would be whatever the true value is. Maybe let's say it's a gold bar or a gold colored bar, and then a gray colored bar for false. That third one would be gray because it is now less than or it's greater than what the timeout left value is. And then you can use that in like soccer for substitutions as well. So it's kind of a multi-purpose tool. And then true false values for the other toggles. So this is where you would load those in for like instead of scene flag, you would have like an empty image here for the false. It would need to be the same resolutions. We let you know if the resolutions don't match. This is all like mock-up information here. So like we would show you in red that the resolutions don't match and tell you what the resolutions were. And then like your flag, bright yellow with black text type of thing there. And that's what you would end up seeing there. Whoops. So that's what we got. And then, so I'm going to show you the session editor here, but before I do that, just want to make it clear, as we change different session types, the only thing that changes visually is this status window here. All these buttons stay put. Nothing here changes as far as the arrangement, but then you can go in and change like, what the buttons are labeled. And then with the macros, you can change like what this button will adjust, what counters it will adjust, what toggles it will adjust, and things like that. But from sport to sport, these controls are all uniform. You can just make them do different things and give them different context on the scorebug so that ultimately the viewer will see what they come to expect in a professional style scorebug. Okay, so let's take a look at the session editor. The session editor is essentially a way of performing, open heart surgery on your game session. During a live game, you could come here to make some manual adjustments to what we call the line status table. The line status table holds by period scores and other stats that you may want to use in like line scores and things like that as the game unfolds. So you think about this, if this was baseball, you'd have first inning, second inning, third inning, fourth, up through 9 or, whatever. And then you can throw in some extras. So here in football, I've got the 4 quarters, and then I have our 3 overtime periods, which we may or may not have to use. And then you can define this last period as final, so that when you click the final button here, it will automatically advance to there in the game. But what we have here is basically a place where you can adjust the names, the true false values of toggles, the names of the counters. You can have some additional controls over those counters. And then you can also rename how those periods display. So we have a long name and a short name. If you are working in another country, you don't want English, so you can type in your own stuff. Over here with the context values, these change depending on the sport. So um, if you're not in English, I'm not sure why that says that. That should say first and second and. There we go. Um, but let's say you are in another country where English is not the language you want to use. So you can change that there to be whatever the first and second and equivalent is in your language. So the session editor not only allows you to make some changes during the game that would otherwise be difficult to change through the typical scoreboard controls, but it's also here to help you customize the interface and some of the wording that you would see in the score bug to match whatever the culture, the language of choice for you. Um, okay, so here with the toggles, I want to show you just one of the features that we have here. We have manual control settings. So if those are clicked, then the timers will be part of that feature. And the way those work is anytime a toggle is set to true, and if there's a timer value that's something other than 0, um, it will count down from whatever that value is and then revert to false. So here you can see we have a flag is true, blank is false, which is why right now we see nothing up there for the flag control, because right now that toggle is set at false. And then if we set it at 0, it'll just hold whatever the status is until the button is clicked again. But if we were to deselect, we haven't actually implemented this yet, but we have some automation controls here. So you can actually have the toggle respond to values from the counters. So the idea here is like basketball with the bonus with depending on how many fouls you have. And that value can change from from league to league, from different parts of the world. They have different rules. So what you would expect to see here is you could select a counter here, so the list would match the counters we have here, and then a logic control, which would be like equals, greater than or equal to, things like that, and then you could put in a value. So let's say if the sixth foul activates the bonus for the other team, then you would put in like a 6 there and then greater than or equal to or something like that. And then you can get really creative with this to make it work for different sports and just make it work with the parameters that you need. Let's see. Over here with our macros, you can quickly see how the macros work. So this first down macro will basically just change the down and distance equal to 1 and 10. But if we come over to like the visiting team touchdown, you'll see it will automatically add 6 points, and then it will activate the visiting team touchdown toggle to true. And again, that activates the counter or the timer as well. So after 3 seconds, that toggle will revert to false. I think that's all I've got. If you have any questions, certainly let us know. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Visit back at our website often over the next couple weeks as we start revealing more information. We're very excited to finally be getting this to a place where we can show and demonstrate it, and we'll be releasing it here shortly for third-party CG control. So we will be doing an XML output as well as a CSV output. So most third-party CGs will read an XML file, but some require like the CSV. So a new tech, live text up here, that's XML, but like Live Stream Studio, that's a CSV file. We will be releasing it for that, and then the internal CG will be coming along there shortly thereafter, so that we can have control directly inside. We have plans to Again, this is all like just fake stuff. It's just here for show. It doesn't actually do anything yet, but we do have plans for NDI, for the legacy IVGA for the older TriCasters, Black Magic PNG right into the media pool, and then our regular PNG output. So we've got a lot of plans in mind for the internal CG, and looking forward to get to those. So let us know if you have any questions. I really encourage you to like us on Facebook. That's going to be a great community resource so that you can find out what's going on, talk to other people, give us your suggestions, and I'd like to see what the community says on different suggestions. So that's where to go. Facebook.com/SuiteCG or just SuiteCG.com. You can, at the bottom of the page there of our new website, we got a link right to the Facebook page as well. Thank you for taking the time to watch and look forward to hearing from you.